This is a quick lesson on using Revit architecture to model the studio loft project. We'll do the steps carefully, slowly, so that you can follow along. Start a new project in Revit. Whenever you do that, always use the architectural template file. Opens up to a level 1 view of the project, and we're going to now, from the insert menu, link an AutoCAD file that we're going to use as an underlay. So you locate it, presumably you have it handy. Right? So when you import an AutoCAD link, it usually pins it somewhere in the model. You may have to look around for it and then drag that geometry into work area. So these have elevations all drawn into one, but basically we're going to work around the floor plan and then later incorporate the elevation information. Let's measure this. Let's see, in fact, we've got, yeah, it looks like 62 feet by 30 feet. There's a stair and elevator opening in back. Stair and elevator implies that this is somehow a level within an existing building. That's beyond the scope of what we're doing here. We're just modeling what we can see in front of us. So first thing you do is create a floor, and we're going to create the 4 walls around it. Architecture, floor launches sketch edit mode, which prompts you to draw a shape. The easiest way to do it with a rectangle. We're just going to snap to perimeter here. These double lines represent structure. We're not using we're not going to turn it into a structural slab. And we're using a generic floor type which has a 12-inch thickness. So when you finish, edit, there's a floor. Revit defaults to 2 levels. So when we look at any one of the elevations, we see that there's a floor that we just drew, and there's level 2. So we're going to take level 2 and make it the height of what appears to be top of a roof. Perhaps this is a parapet, who knows. Let's measure, annotate, aligned. I'm going to say that that's the top of the roof and this is somehow the top of a parapet or something, because it appears there's some structural members and a girder holding that system up. So from here to there, I'm going to take as a floor to floor height. This is a poor drawing because there's somehow fractions. I'm going to change units to round off to the nearest inch. Manage project units. So we're not landing anybody on the moon. Okay, so it's 19 feet to the top of the next floor, and I'm going to let that be level 2. So if I go forward level 2, I'm going to say 19 feet. So when I draw walls that go from level 1 to level 2, I could also create, alright, let's make the assumption that let's create another level. And I'm going to call this top of parapet. Just trying to make sense of the geometry. Let's just call this top of parapet. I don't normally do this, but we'll, and top of parapet is going to be at 22.6. Okay. Let's go back to level 1. Let's see if we can ascertain the wall thickness. Architecture. I'm sorry, annotate. And it looks like we have 12 inches as a wall thickness. And these walls are strangely 5 inches. Might make those 6. So I'm drawing on level 1. And now I'm going to go to architecture wall, and I'm going to set location line for wall. I'm going to draw to the exterior, finished face exterior, so I can draw in a clockwise fashion. And I'm going to change the top constraint from unconnected to draw up to level 2. Okay, we can later change these to go up to the parapet, but just for simplicity's sake, let's do that. Let's change it to a generic 12-inch wall, and then draw the 1, 2, 3, and 4th wall. They just have to intersect and then they will join. So if I go to a quick 3D view, there's my model. Okay. I don't normally do this, but for illustration purposes, I'm going to draw now my level 2 floor. Architecture, floor. That is, I don't normally draw it in isometric mode, but I want the floor to be on level 2. So if I take the rectangle drawing instrument again, can I snap somehow? Okay, this hasn't drawn where I'd like it to, so let's just go back, select this, delete it, go to level 2, and draw the floor directly here. Finish edit, answer no to this. And if I go back to my 3D view, we see we have this box. Now I can change my 4 exterior walls to go up to top of parapet. Okay. So now our building structure is actually like that. We might want to change the walls, the second floor that we drew, to snap to the inside center lines of the walls, or the core of the walls. So I could edit the boundary of that floor and just say, because it's 12 inches, I'm going to offset 6 inches without copying to the inside. So I'm taking the outline of the boundary of the floor offsetting it 6 inches to the interior, finish edit, so that now it, if I go into wireframe mode, I can see the shape that I've created. So there's our enclosure. In the next lesson, I'll show you how to add doors and windows, and we should be good to go.